Hello students, how are you? I hope all of you are fine and staying at home safely. This is Nasim Ahmed, teacher of Ideal Public School, Katiura. In this video series, I am explaining class 9, chapter 9, Force and Laws of Motion. This is the third video of this series. In the last two videos, I have explained about force, then I have started laws of motion. So in the last video, I have explained Newton's first law of motion. Today, in this video, I'll be explaining Newton's second law of motion. So I hope my explanations are helpful to you. So without any further ado, let's get started. So students, before starting with the today's topic, let me tell you one concept. This is very important because if you want to understand Newton's second law, you have to understand this term first. Okay, the term is momentum. As you can see in the screen, you have momentum. So all the bodies in motion possesses a physical property, momentum. Let us learn about it before starting with Newton's second law of motion. So from this statement you can understand momentum is a physical property like temperature, like any other physical property. It's what? It's a physical property. Temperature, pressure, anything you can say. So what is momentum then? It is the measure of motion in body, or it is equal to the product of mass and velocity of a body. Simply, in simple words, you can say it is the measure of motion in body. It is the product of mass and velocity. So each and every object which is in motion, suppose which is existing actually, this is what, if you consider this one as an object, so it will be having some kind of mass, isn't it? And if it is moving, then it is having velocity. Okay, if it is stationary, then it is having zero velocity. So at least it is having some kind of velocity. So if it is stationary, then it will be having what? Zero velocity. And if you, it is the product, that means you have to multiply. So see the formula. So m is what? Mass. V is what? Velocity. And we denote momentum with p. Okay, we denote momentum with p. So it is the product. That means if you if a stationary object is there, if this ball is stationary, so I have drawn this ball here. So if it is stationary, then the momentum will be zero. Okay, because velocity is zero, or anything multiplied with zero is what? Zero itself. So if this object, this ball is having some kind of velocity, it is moving, then we can find out the momentum of this ball. Okay, and its unit is kilogram meter per second. So you just remember it. So it's, see, it depends upon velocity. It depends upon velocity. As we know, velocity is a vector quantity, so as momentum is a vector quantity. So we know about vector quantity, and other one is what? Scalar quantity. Okay, so this is what, this momentum is what? This momentum is vector quantity. So have you noticed a karate player, he can break a pile of tiles with a single ball of his hand. The karate player strikes the pile of tiles with his hand very fast. In doing so, the large momentum of his hand is reduced to zero in a very short duration. So whenever a karate player strikes the pile of tiles, what he do? Whenever he breaks it, then he means very speedily, what he strikes the pile so that it can break. Okay, and then what happens after that? In doing so, large momentum of his hand is reduced to zero in a very short duration. So whenever he breaks it, then his hand momentum becomes zero. Okay, so this is the explanation of momentum. So let's jump into the explanation of Newton's second law of motion. So students, before starting the explanation of Newton's second law, let's remind Newton's first law of motion, because if you want to understand this Newton's second law of motion, you have to understand Newton's first law of motion first. Okay, so I've explained it. Now just for this explanation, let's remind it. Any object remains in the state of rest or in uniform motion. So two states are there, either the object is at rest or in uniform motion, means it is moving at uniform speed, that means uniform velocity, along a straight line until it is compelled to change the state by applying external force. So if no external force is applied on an object who is at rest or in uniform motion, then it will continue its position state, means the state of motion. Okay, either it is at rest or in uniform motion. So it will continue to be at rest if you don't apply any force, external force, or if the object is in uniform motion, if it is moving, then it will continue to move if you don't apply any external force. So this was the first law of motion. So from these we will understand Newton's second law of motion. So if you say, means if I say the explanation, if I take any object like if it is a stone, okay, stone, it is at rest, it is at rest. So if you apply some force, okay, so because of this force, this stone will be in motion. Earlier it was at rest. After applying the force, it will be in motion. So after time t, so I'm indicating time with t, okay, I'm denoting time with t. So after time t, what will be its motion? Okay, how much, like it will be in motion, we know, but how much the motion will be, this will be given by the second law of motion. So let's see how it goes. Okay, so students, Newton's second law of motion, let's see the statement first. According to it, the rate of change of momentum, according to it, the rate of change of momentum of a body is directly proportional to the force applied. According to it, the rate of change of momentum. So we know about momentum, we have understood about the concept, like the concept of momentum we have understood earlier, of a body is directly proportional to the applied force. So earlier the object either may be in motion or may be in in the state of rest. So you have applied some force, then what is the motion after time, after some time? This is what I said, like the second law of motion. So you see, rate of change of momentum of a body is directly proportional to the force applied. Rate of change, when we say rate of change, then we relate this one, the change, with time. Okay, with time. So rate of change of momentum, so momentum we know p, we denote momentum with p. Okay, so p equals to m into v, we know this, p equals to m into v. So m means mass, v means velocity. Okay, so we know the object is moving, so after applying force, this mass and this velocity, the product of these, how much it has changed after time t. Okay, so this is what the Newton's second law of motion. So if if we understand it with an example, so this will be best, I think. So let's understand it. Okay, students, a cricketer, when catches a ball, pulls his hand in the backward direction to give some time to decrease the velocity of the ball. Decrease the velocity of the ball. As the acceleration of the ball decreases, the force exerted on catching the moving ball also decreases. If the cricketer would try to stop a moving ball suddenly, he would have to apply larger force. Okay, so every one of us played cricket. Okay, so while catching a ball, you see in the photograph, you see this player is catching this ball, is coming from above. Okay, this ball is coming towards him. So while catching it, what he do, he just pulls his hand backward. Okay, after catching the ball, he pulls the ball backward, in the backward direction. Okay, pulls the hand actually in the backward direction. Why? Because the ball is having high velocity, isn't it? It is having high velocity. So while catching this ball, he needs to apply some force. Okay, he needs to stop the ball, isn't it? If he pulls it down, then less amount of force is required. Okay, if he pulls this hand down, then what happens? The velocity of the ball, or we can say the acceleration of the ball, decreases. Okay, acceleration of the ball decreases. Okay, so if he catch the ball suddenly, then what he need to do, he need to apply more amount of force. So if the ball is coming slowly, then he need to apply less amount of force. If the ball is coming very fast, then he need to apply more amount of force. Okay, to stop the ball. So from this explanation, you understood that the rate of change of momentum of a body is directly proportional to the applied force. So I hope you have understood it. If you have not understood, then you can comment in the comment box, or you can directly ask me. Okay students, let's understand this law mathematically. So the mathematical explanation is mathematical like term, the thing that you, the formula that you will get after understanding this second law of motion is very important, because you have so many numericals from this formula itself. So see, consider a body of mass m, body, like if we consider this body of mass m moving with initial velocity u. So this body is having mass m, and this one is having velocity u. Okay, initially it has u velocity. Okay, this is the plane I've drawn. Then suddenly a retarding force F is applied and it is brought to rest. So this one is moving, suppose in this direction, with velocity u, and after means while moving, some kind of retarding force, some kind of opposite force, the force which is opposite to the motion of this ball or motion of the object is applied, then it is brought to rest. So final velocity say v. Okay, so this is the final case. Here the mass is the same and this is the final velocity. Okay, v. So retardation a is produced in the ball. So we can say how much retardation, that is we can say acceleration is produced, a amount of acceleration is produced. Okay, so you see, consider the body of mass m. So we have considered the body of mass m, then traveling with initial velocity u. So this is clear from this statement itself. Suddenly brakes are applied, so force exerted F. So some force is required to stop the motion of this object, isn't it? This retarding force we have denoted with F. Okay, then we have final velocity. What is the final velocity after applying the force? This is v. Okay, this is v. So you see, we know momentum is the product of mass, and momentum is the product of p equals to m into v. Okay, so mass and velocity. So initially what is the mass? So mass is m, and what is the velocity? Velocity is u. Okay, velocity is u. So we can say initial momentum is mu, and what will be the final velocity? So we'll change this u with v, because this v is the what? Final velocity. Okay, so we can say what is the change? So this is the final momentum, this is the initial momentum, and this is the final momentum. So what is the change in this momentum? So we have to minus the initial momentum from final momentum. Okay, so we can say change in momentum, final momentum minus initial momentum, so mv minus mu. Okay, so what is the rate of change in momentum? So how we find out rate of change? We just divide the thing by t. So mv minus mu divided by t, this is the rate of change of momentum. Okay, so then according to second law, it was said by Newton that rate of change of momentum is directly proportional, you see, directly proportional to force applied. So what does this directly proportional mean? This is the symbol of directly proportional, we know this is the symbol. So what is directly proportional means? So directly proportional is something like two things, a and b. If we say a is directly proportional with the b, so the change in a will depend upon the change in b. If more change happens in b, then a will change more. So it is related with each other simply. So here also we can say the rate of change in momentum is directly proportional to the force. So you see, rate of change in momentum is mv minus mu divided by t, that is directly proportional with f. So we can say we just turned it. Then you see, as we know, the Newton's first law, first equation, that's Newton's first equation was what? V minus u divided by t is equals to acceleration. We know about acceleration, rate of change of velocity, we know about it. So acceleration is v minus u by t. Okay, so same thing here, v minus u, we can change this v minus u by t, which is present here, v minus u by t, so with a. Okay, with a, so we'll get what? We'll get, substituting the value of v minus u by t as a, we get what? F is directly proportional to ma. So this is very important for you, this statement, this equation, we can say this is a formula. We'll use it in different numericals. Okay, students, so removing proportionality sign we get, so if you remove this proportionality sign, this directly proportional sign, then what we get? Kma. So what is k? K is a constant of proportionality and its value is taken as 1. Okay, so we just change this proportionality sign, then what we get? We get a constant here and its value is always taken as 1. Okay, now if we talk about SI unit of force, it is kept after the name of Newton. We know about this, that is SI unit of force. So Newton is what? Newton is the SI unit of force. We know about this. We can define as, so we can say, as we know, F equals to M into A, that means F equals to MA, F equals to MA, we can say. So putting units of all involved in the equation, we get 1 Newton. So we can say 1 Newton equal to 1 kg. Mass is the unit of mass is kg, equal to acceleration meter per second square. It is defined. If we consider mass of this statement, we can define how? If we consider mass of body is 1 kilogram, if we consider that the mass of the body is what? 1 kilogram, 1 kilogram, and acceleration is 1 meter per second square, then we have 1 Newton. Then we have 1 Newton, as force is said to be 1 Newton when it acts on a body of mass 1 gram. So we can say by this way, or we can say by this way also. Force is said to be 1 Newton. So when the force is 1 Newton, when it acts on a body of mass 1 gram, producing an acceleration 1 meter per second square. Simple concept. So how will you say 1 Newton? 1 Newton is the force when the force is act on 1 kilogram body, 1 kilogram mass body, and it produces an acceleration of 1 meter per second square. So I hope you have understood it. If you have not understood, then you can watch this video again. Okay, so I hope you have understood. Let's if you have any doubt regarding this concept, you can ask me. So students, in this video I have explained about Newton's second law of motion, but we have not gone through the numericals that we will get from this Newton's second law of motion. So in the upcoming videos I will be coming with the numericals, so stay tuned. And if you have any doubt regarding this concept, you can ask me in the comment box, or you can directly message me in the WhatsApp, or you can directly call me. I think you have got the number from our school's app. So just study hard, because after this vacation, you have exams. Okay, so you have to prepare yourself for that. So thank you for watching. God bless.